Hey guys, this is Tony from Nerdy and 30, and this is the first episode of a new series that me and my cousin Ryan are going to do called Does It Hold Up? Um, so, in our first episode, we're going to be talking about the adventures of Buckaroo Banzai across the eighth dimension. um, I heard about this movie a couple months ago. I don't know how I didn't hear about it when we were little kids because it came out in the 80s, and both me and Ryan were kids of the 80s, mostly 90s, but late 80s. And we decided to watch it. And this series, we're going to be watching old school movies that we either haven't seen and heard are good, or we remember as good but want to check out again and see if they're still any good. This movie was directed by W.D. Richter, and this is like the only movie he really directed, but he did write the script for Big Trouble in Little China, which after you watch this movie definitely makes sense. It stars Peter Weller, John Lithgow, Alan Barkin, and Christopher Lloyd, and a bunch of other character actors that you will definitely recognize when you see, like Jonathan Banks was in Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
There's the dude from Pet Cemetery 2,
Oh
the
yeah.
cop that tries to murder his family. There's
There was a lot of people. I can't remember all their names though.
yeah. So first off, Ryan, why don't you tell me what you thought was going on in this movie? Because
Honestly, it's really hard to say because I don't think I have any idea what was going on in this movie. It had one of the most unnecessary and ridiculous plots, as far as I can tell. Um,
all right,
Peter Weller is a brilliant scientist slash race car driver. Uh,
slash surgeon slash rock star.
yeah, slash rock star, and I guess he's
He's
just.
Buckaroo Banzai, by the
Yeah,
way.
and he and his buddies, the Hong Kong Cavaliers, where Jeff Goldblum is actually a cowboy for some reason, and they have to fight
Jeff
against.
Goldblum's also a surgeon.
Oh, he's also a surgeon. He's a surgeon cowboy,
Yeah,
and they have to fight
from New
against.
Jersey.
They have to fight against a bunch of ginger aliens that are led by John Lithgow, who's a gender ginger with bad teeth and an Italian accent for some reason.
And we'll get to that
And
in a
he's an
minute.
alien, apparently.
So the plot essentially is Buckaroo Banzai test drives a race car and goes into a different dimension and comes back, and these aliens have been on Earth since 1938 when Orson Welles did the War of the Worlds radio broadcast in New Jersey, and turns out that was true, and they've been here this whole time, but then they see on the news that Buckaroo Banzai went to another dimension, so now they try to steal his technology, but in the process, good aliens that are all black Jamaican people
Yeah.
come to Earth to try and help us stop him, who they're all white people. Christopher Lloyd's character still needs his glasses, by the way, when he turns to an alien.
And what was his name again?
Uh, John Big Booty.
Yeah, John Big Booty, not
Yeah,
Booty.
yeah, and all the white alien or all the aliens, their first name is John, even though it's said that they all got the name, they all gave themselves the name John and a random last name in 1938 as like a cover. But then the black Jamaican aliens, when they came to Earth, their first name was still John, which didn't make sense.
No, it didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
John Smallberries, John Big Booty,
Yeah.
John.
So then, I mean, this is all going to be spoilers because this movie's 35 years old.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen it by now, but they they try to steal his technology to take over the world, and the black Jamaican alien leader.
Who has cerebral palsy.
No, that's the guy that comes down to Earth. I'm talking about the hologram person. They warned that he was like comparable to our Hitler, but John Lithgow was Italian and was literally trying to act like Mussolini, but never turned into an alien.
Yeah.
And let me just say, John Lithgow was rivaling Nicolas Cage in this movie for overacting. This is one of the worst overacting performances I've ever seen in my life, and one of the worst Italian accents ever.
I thought it was hilarious. It was funny.
And John Lithgow's overacting to the max, and Peter Weller's trying to take this super serious because he thinks it's going to be like the next franchise.
Yeah, he thinks
like
it's going to make
Superman.
Jeff Goldblum was the best part. Jeff Goldblum did not take the role seriously at all. I felt like he just kind of improv the whole movie, honestly. But if you tell at the end, it looks like he got kind of exasperated, like he was kind of tired of the whole thing.
I think he improvs a lot.
He really does. But
I heard that in Thor Ragnarok. In that scene where they have Thor strapped to the chair and they're like electrocuting him or whatever, that was all improvised.
I can see that.
Like when he was like, "What word describes her?" and she's like, "Trash." He's like, "That doesn't even start with that letter."
Were you just waiting to call her that?
Yeah, I think that was all improvised.
Yeah.
Yeah. The scene is just. This movie's just weird. Like it kind of had that Big Trouble in Little China feeling. It's just not. Big Trouble in Little China is like 80s awesomeness. This is just freaking weird and doesn't make sense. And like there's the one scene where Banzai kicks an alien in the balls.
For some reason the aliens have balls.
Yeah.
And he got hurt. Another alien had boxing gloves on for some reason.
Yeah, you saw that real quick.
We didn't really know why.
And we could just talk about the one part. I've never seen this in a major release. The assistant to the president, who is foreign, literally tried to pronounce. What word was he trying to say?
Surveillance.
Surveillance. He couldn't even say it right and then said it over again. And they kept that take in the movie. I've never seen that in my life.
During a major motion picture. Surveillance. Literally the line.
Yeah. And then we can talk about the don't come room.
Oh, that was one of the best parts. Buckaroo Banzai came up to a room, and the sign on it literally said, "Don't come in."
No, it says nobody comes.
Nobody comes in here, but they spelled "come" C-U-M-Z. Nobody comes in here.
And that's where the alien spaceship is.
I was left speechless at that part.
One of my favorite parts is the bubble wrap.
Oh, everybody had bubble.
So when they were watching the alien like R2-D2 broadcast that they brought them in a pink package, they all had to wear a bubble mask for no reason whatsoever. Where'd they get the mask?
I don't know. And then the secretary came in.
How'd they even know they needed
cereal? You remember that?
Yeah.
The secretary had a dinner plate full of cereal for all of them while they were watching this broadcast with bubble wrap 3D glasses. And they didn't really explain why.
This movie's just strange, and we barely knew what was going on through most of it, and we still barely know why people did certain things in the movie.
It's very, very confusing movie. I like the opening scroll, though.
Yeah.
The opening scroll was
The opening scroll was epic, and that was nothing. It was just like a Star Wars type thing. Well, this movie came out 1 year after Return of the Jedi, so they were probably like, what's cool right now?
Yeah.
Aliens kind of things and like 80s.
They didn't really explain why he was half Japanese, half American, and he was a ninja, and he had like samurai swords, but he never used them.
So, I mean, we can get to the fact that Buckaroo Banzai is basically a Mary Sue. Now, you said you don't know what a Mary Sue is.
I have no idea.
So a lot of people are saying that Rey from like Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, that she's a Mary Sue, and Mary Sue is basically a character that can do anything perfectly and has no faults whatsoever. Ugh. And if you think about Buckaroo Banzai, did he grow as a character?
No. He was pretty much perfect.
And could he do everything?
Yeah.
Ever?
He basically, I don't think he even got hurt in this movie, like once.
No.
Like he was basically like Superman or something. It was just really weird. I don't know why he dresses up like he thinks he's Doctor Who.
Yeah.
It's very strange movie. But I did. Who's the Japanese scientist?
I don't remember his name.
He was.
He was overacting too. It's almost like they came in and he was speaking in his normal accent, and they told him to like exaggerate it even more.
Yeah.
It's like he was stereotyping his own culture.
He really was. It was ridiculous, and I didn't understand the main heroine. What was her name? Pretty Penny or Penny Pretty?
Penny Pretty.
Oh my bad. Penny
Penny
Pretty.
Pretty turned out to be maybe the identical twin of his dead wife, and then
Probably one of the most useless female characters I've ever seen in a
she
movie.
got tortured in what looked like a rape machine.
She was like kind of like socially inept at everything and completely relied on Buckaroo Banzai to do everything for her. And it was weird. He rescued her from prison, and then they all had a press conference with the president. And for some reason,
She
she
had
was
a
up at the
microphone.
table with a microphone and she was talking.
About like physics, particle physics,
Yeah.
and even though she was just like about to kill herself, and
Yeah.
they have no idea who she is.
And
then
oh.
You called the ending.
Yeah, she almost died. She was killed by the aliens, and Buckaroo Banzai woke her up with a magic kiss, basically. Like
because when he answered the phone for the president, he got like electrocuted.
Oh yeah, then he got the formula
Electrocuted.
on his hand, and then he gave it to the Japanese guy, and he's like,
His
"Here you
forehead.
go," and he just smacked it on his forehead so he couldn't see it.
I think us talking about all these plot points, people are probably listening to this like, what the hell are these guys talking about? But when you watch this movie, you get that same exact feeling. You're like,
Yeah.
what the hell is going on? Like some of these parts are funny. Like this movie is, some parts are so stupid it's funny, but some parts are just dumb.
Yeah. I want to say that it's like a satire of the '80s, but
I don't think it's that
just
smart.
so bizarre. I just
That's
think
giving it too much
it was
credit.
just it was trash.
It had some redeem. I mean, what were there any parts of this movie that you liked?
Oh, parts that made me laugh.
Yeah, but you were laughing because it was stupid.
Yeah.
Were there any parts that you
know,
liked that
the
you just
effects
don't
weren't
like
that bad
for the time?
for the time what was it 1984?
Yeah,
The effects weren't too bad, I guess.
I think practical effects hold up. So, like, if you watch the original Star Wars trilogy, a lot of those effects hold up because they're practical. But then when you watch like a movie from the mid '90s and you look at those effects, like Blade. You ever try watching Blade lately?
Oh my god.
Those effects do not hold up.
No, they just stick out like a sore thumb.
So I don't know. As far as acting goes, I mean Jeff Goldblum was great in this, but he's great in everything.
He really
even
is.
Trash movie. Everyone loves Independence Day, and to be honest, Independence Day is not a good movie.
It's
but
really not.
Jeff Goldblum was good in that. He's good in everything.
Yeah.
And I think The Fly was a couple of years after this.
Fly was a really good movie.
Yeah. So this is like primetime Goldblum.
Basically. If you're a fan of Jeff Goldblum, definitely have to see this.
And I love Peter Weller. I love RoboCop.
I'm not a big fan, but
I love RoboCop, and I'm a history buff, so I appreciate that he has like degrees in various. He used to teach at Syracuse, like ancient civilizations, and he has degrees in Italian art and stuff like that. I appreciate him, but he's not the greatest actor.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's good actors in this movie. They're just not acting well.
Yeah.
Like John Lithgow. John Lithgow. This is by far the worst movie I've ever seen him in, and he was in Coneheads.
Yeah. That's saying something.
He was absolutely horrible in this movie. I don't like all the other aliens turned back to aliens, but he didn't. And why does he have an Italian accent if he's an alien?
Yeah. He was also very religious.
Yeah.
He kept crucifixes around him. He had a picture of the Last Supper in his room, which is strange for an alien, and they didn't really explain that.
I think the scene that sums up this movie the most is when they're playing the rock scene and he stops to like interview Ellen Barkin's character, and she tries to kill herself, and Banzai's playing the piano, and one of the members in his band is like, "This is weird."
Yeah, it was the guy from Pet Sematary too.
He said, "This is weird."
Yeah.
And that sums up this whole movie. There's
it
like
really
random
does.
scenes, and then you're like, "This is weird."
Or what was the part with the president where he was talking to Peter Weller and
he goes, "My God."
Yeah,
out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. It made absolutely no sense for no reason. It was just like the stereotypical, like, my God.
This movie is just all over the place. I think it thinks Well, it definitely thought it was going to be like some sort of franchise, but I think it also thinks it's a lot cleverer than what it really is.
It's really not.
It's just weird,
It's a very strange movie.
and it's taking like all the weird aspects of the 80s and just highlighting it. Like the one dude looks like Billy Idol.
Yeah,
uh,
I mean, it's hard to describe. It's almost like
and why Jeff Goldblum was wearing a cowboy outfit. They never even explained it when they picked him up. He had like his cowboy outfit on. He was listening to country music, but they never actually addressed why. He even
no.
said, "Are you guys gonna make fun of me?"
Oh, I
But then
remember
they
that.
never.
They never explained why.
He's
It
just
is
wearing a
weird.
cowboy outfit for no reason.
And what was with the little kid that had the gun and the
Yeah.
helicopter?
So they went on like a CB radio, and they were asked. Banzai was asking for help or whatever, and this little kid like got his dad to fly a helicopter over to help save Banzai when he was being chased by the van of
Yeah.
aliens. And at the end of that movie, they give the little kid a freaking gun to go on their mission with them
And body armor.
and body armor. That's highly dangerous.
Yeah.
And that kid actually saves the day. He steals the technology
Yeah,
thing from the
whatever,
like
the
Secretary of
oscillator.
State or whatever. Yeah. God, this movie.
Oh my god. There's. Don't take our word for it, though.
I mean, so ultimately, the question of this series is: does this movie hold up?
If you ask me,
Yeah.
absolutely not.
Yeah, I'd say it doesn't either. I was kind of excited when I heard about this movie on a podcast. I cannot believe I've never heard of it, but yeah, this movie doesn't really hold up.
No, it like you said, it has that Big Trouble in Little China feel, but it's just
Big Trouble in Little China is much better,
much better than this.
and Big Trouble in Little China is not even a great movie.
Yeah, I.
It's goofy,
It's
but
very goofy, but it's
it's
entertaining.
entertaining, but
This
it's
is
not.
not. This isn't really
I mean,
entertaining.
there were
Okay,
tiny bits in here that were entertaining here and there, but for the most part, this movie is just confusing and kind of boring.
and that's probably why we've never heard of it until now.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody has ever really. A lot of people haven't heard of this movie.
I don't know. I told a handful of people we were getting ready to watch this, and they're like, "What?
Yeah.
What's that?"
What the hell is Buckaroo Banzai?
Yeah, most
Right.
people only know Peter Weller from RoboCop,
RoboCop.
and that's
Yeah.
pretty much it. Or Engineering an Empire on the History Channel.
Ugh.
Ooh.
Yeah. I think it was definitely a good way to open up the series, though.
Yeah, definitely. So we're gonna try and come out with these once every couple weeks. But I said that with the movie mouth, I was gonna do once a week, but summer's hard. So we're just going to come out with these as much as we can. I think next time we're going to be watching Monster Squad from
Yeah.
the 80s. Now, this is Ryan's recommendation. This one, Buckaroo Banzai was mine, so Ryan's going to do the next one. And why'd you recommend Monster Squad?
Monster Squad. Well, definitely, it's an icon of the '80s. I think it is a very cheesy movie. Basically, to sum it up, just to give you a little teaser here: Dracula, Frankenstein, the Mummy, and the Wolfman all team up, and a bunch of kids got to hunt them down and kill them.
See, I've never seen this movie, so this is rare because I feel like I've seen a lot of 80s movies, but this one and the next one I haven't seen. But I mean, you've seen it, so when's the last time you've seen it?
I haven't seen it since I was 10.
Okay, so it's perfect.
It's
So
been a
you haven't
long
seen it
time.
in 20 years, and I haven't
Yeah.
seen it at all. So we're gonna try and come out with that commentary on that one in a couple weeks. So for this episode of Does It Hold Up? The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai and the Eighth Dimension does not hold up. So for Tony at Nerdy and 30 and my cousin here Ryan, if you like what you hear, look out for our next episode and make sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more content. All right, thanks guys. See ya.
See ya.